So how sharp should your videos actually be? Well, honestly, however sharp you want them to be. Maybe you like it super sharp, or maybe you like it a bit softer. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. You guys know by now that everything I say in my videos usually is my personal opinion, advice, and some of you might think it's good advice, some of you might think it's that's also fine. There's also people who think that all the words that come out of my mouth are just pure diarrhea, and you can easily spot those guys in the comments. That's fine too. Anyway, but that being said, I do think that a lot of videos these days are super sharp, overly sharp, digitally sharp. So let me give you some quick tips on how to get rid of that digital sharpness. Okay, so here's what I think you should do if you want to get rid of that overly sharp digital look. First of all, if you can, turn off all in-camera sharpening. Like I said in one of my previous videos, a lot of times the default sharpness setting is way too high, and adding it yourself gives you more control over the amount and the strength, also the type of sharpening. Now, of course, if you don't want or can't add sharpening in post, then you could turn on in-camera sharpening, but make sure that you don't overdo it. Once you start seeing the digital sharpening, those weird white lines around high contrast areas and fine detail, it's too much. Try to avoid that. You can often see it around hair or a beard, for example, those really fine details. And then when the subject is moving, it creates this weird, brittle, ugly effect. I don't know how to describe it, but it's really ugly. And the problem is that a lot of people are getting used to that overly sharpened look, because when you go to a TV store, for example, and you see all the TVs, usually the sharpening settings are through the roof. It's incredible. And then they bump up the saturation, contrast. It's so ugly. I don't understand why they do it, but when I buy a TV, first thing I do is turn down all those settings. Because that's the problem now. People think that that's what an image should look like, overly sharp. Oh, it's 4K, it has to be super sharp. But no, that's not the case. I'm starting to rant. I'm not gonna do that because I'm gonna keep it super short today. Second tip, don't be afraid of shooting wide open. Especially with modern lenses, wide open is plenty sharp, and you get rid of that super sharp digital look that you get when shooting at 5.6 to 9, the sharpness sweet spot. Of course, it will depend on the lens, the quality of the lens, but most lenses, wide open is fine. That fear of shooting wide open, maybe 20 years that was true, but not today anymore. With a decent 2.8 lens, I almost always shoot wide open, and even with this lens, the 35mm 1.8, it's wide open now, and it looks great. But remember that I'm talking about video specifically now. Photographers are a little bit more, demanding when it comes to sharpness. Okay, the third tip is... I forgot. Mist filters! It's one of my favorites, and I forgot. Mist filters, yeah. Mist filters are designed to get rid of that digital sharpness. That's what they're for. They also make light sources look nicer, that nice blooming effect, and skin looks a bit smoother and softer. I think that a good mist filter makes your image look more organic. Now, not everybody likes that look, and that's fine, but I, for example, use my Black Pro Mist 1/8 filter pretty much all the time, but only the 1/8, the lowest strength. Once you go to 1/4 or half a stop, it's too much. Well, for me at least, it's too much, but some people like 1/4, a half a stop. But 1/8, I think you can leave it on all the time. The Tiffin Black Pro Mist filters, the ones that I have, pretty expensive. So, you could also look for a cheaper one. Lots of brands have them these days. But remember that if you like this look, this is the 1/8, then if you buy the 1/8 of another brand, it's not gonna look exactly the same. I've noticed that there's inconsistencies with the gradations. Gradations? The strengths. So make sure that you look for a review video first so that you can see what it actually looks like before you buy one. Just a tip. Okay, and then finally, don't forget shutter speeds. I get a lot of comments of people who want to make their footage, their videos look sharper and crisper, but then when they add sharpening, they find that it looks too digital. And you know, it's true. So another way to make your videos look more crisp and sharper is to increase the shutter speed. Instead of shooting 24 frames per second and a shutter speed of 1/50th, try 1/60th, or maybe even 30 frames per second and 1/60th. That way you'll get less motion blur, and that'll make your image look a bit sharper and crisper without having to add digital sharpening. So, you know, it looks nicer. Okay, I'm gonna end the video here, guys, because I have a lot of work to do in my new studio, lots of painting. Not the most fun thing to do, but it has to be done. And, you know, I want to move as soon as possible to my new studio, because that's not it. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Salut! I just put this here to, like, I don't know. Why did I put it here? That's so stupid. I just wanted to make it feel not so empty, I guess. But now I realize that was maybe not. Whatever.